Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm your boy Hupsaiya. I'm here to show you a game that I played versus the legendary pro gamer caster Pig Australia, the PVZ on Abyssal Reef. And spoiler alerts, there's going to be a couple of moments this game where I get incredibly tilted. I'm going to talk about how you talk yourself down from the negative spiral of bad things happening in an RTS game. Let the game play in the background while I talk a little bit about this subject. Starcraft 2 and RTS games are incredibly difficult, and they require a tremendous amount of mental fortitude to execute well in. And unfortunately, there is no world any person able to perfectly execute while playing games. So this is something we have to live with.
Island's gonna be late.
And
Additional
unfortunately,
pylons are required.
a lot of people will deal with these problems better than other people. And me, it's been a long-standing problem that when the spiral of bad things starts to happen, right? You make mistakes because mistakes are going to happen. And when you're in the midst of the game, a lot of the times you need to just accept them as
Pig
the
is
new
really good.
reality.
It's because your music's trash, bro.
You need to accept them as the new reality of the game. That's me popping off in the background. Keep it muted until we're ready to just watch the game. So you're going to make mistakes, and most people are going to get upset that they're making mistakes. And everyone deals with making mistakes in different ways. And I've always had a much more difficult time staying calm. If I get upset, tends to stay upset for a lot longer. And there was a certain moment in this game that made me really proud of myself where I was getting really upset and I took a step back. I said some words to myself and I stopped being upset. And it made all the difference because we were in a position where I was about to lose and I had the acknowledgement of what was happening and I locked in and we absolutely demolished our brother pig here.
Dimensional strings.
Where's his
attuned.
third?
So
To the Daylom.
we have our standard PVZ
Let us begin.
where we open with a Stargate,
You see enemies
try to get a
scattered
fast third
the
base,
fuck?
and some really weird stuff happens, right? We have two queens at my third base location
your base.
at 4 minutes into the game, which is very weird, right? This is the beginning of
We serve with
the death spiral of
yes.
random mistakes happening, okay? And we're having to play very adaptively. See, that's problem one right there. I put a stasis ward in a single triggering proxit. This is like a meter that slowly fills up in your mind problem.
We meet our fate.
And you just have to accept them and not get upset at yourself and not get upset at your opponent either. All my gateway units get surrounded there, but we're trying to keep in mind that our opponent is pretty all in here. Fortunately, does kill our third base and we don't cancel it. There's a lot of pressure right now on me to perform well. And unfortunately, we're not performing that well, right? Wasted all the energy on our oracles. Our third base got killed instead of canceled. Our opponent has the tempo advantage. We really don't know what's going on.
Pretty big flub to not get the cancel on the third.
I even talked to myself about it there. And this is another big part of it, right? The negative spiral of emotion.
Big flub, not getting the cancel. He's got like a
Talking to myself about how big of a mistake I made. And a lot of the times, that has absolutely no value, right? If you're in the midst of playing the game, talking about how bad a mistake was has no value. Because all it's going to serve us to do push you deeper into frustration. And hindsight is 2020, right? Always imagine we could have done better. We're playing a game of Starcraft, and the show must go on. You can't be tilted about things that happened already. You just need to make the best out of the situation that you have. And you're gonna notice here, I shut up. Not talking anymore. We're locking in. We're playing the game. We're doing our best, right? Pressuring and poking with the stalkers. I'm abusing this choke point that Abyssal Wreath has. Taking advantage of the fact that my opponent only has melee units to fight me with, right? He only has Zergling range open that he did. And I'm getting ready. Transition.
Make a
Die Storm.
Oracle.
Because when Zerg players play mass Zerglings like this, they're almost always going for Mutalisks or Hydralisks, right? It's kind of a coin flip options when they mass Hydralisks. And Storm and Archons is the answer to both of those things. Already of King. Left a couple of units at home, so I was being very cognitive, and I was thinking a lot about what was going on. And I was in a very strong state of mind at this point in time, right? Like, I left the units at home, and I was able to stuff the Zergling run by that happened, because I was very aware I wasn't tilted yet. So,
Upgrade complete.
big part of not being tilted and being good to yourself in the heart of a game, Starcraft, or any RTS for that matter. Not judge yourself too harshly and give yourself space. Think and adapt to the circumstances that you're dealing with. Don't get upset. And like I said, when mistakes happen,
because we know we're going to be defending ourselves for the rest of the game, essentially. Because it's Lurker plus
just chill.
Hydra.
And you see here, I talked about, oh darn, I'm going to be in defensive mode for the rest of the game. This is something I don't like. I don't like being the perpetual defender all game long. It doesn't feel good to be stuck as the defender.
Kind of don't want that to be closed.
And when you're doing something that you don't like, a lot of the times you get stuck in that spiral of negativity even easier. Now I'm going to have to defend my fourth base. This upcoming aggression. Hydra's here. Dropping stasis wards defensively. This is kind of what Protoss wants, right? He's focusing all of his efforts into attacking a single location. And this feels manageable. And like I can deal with it. Right? This feels manageable and like I can. It does get a little bit messy here, and I am floating a lot of resources. Not a good thing, but
no, run.
Finished. You can see there I misclicked multiple times trying to select that High Templar. And that's something that sort of contributes to that mental meter of tiltedness. Making small mistakes and errors like that adds up. And eventually you're going to get so frustrated with yourself that you're going to be exasperated. Calling in game 3 cases. See here, I'm at a 142 supply with 2,000 resources in the bank. Struggling to multitask. Really tunnel visioned and locked in. Here is when I finally stepped back from the aggression that happened. I'm locked in and I'm in that more negative.
We had the Zealot run by. Dang it! We should have used
and I
that.
forgot about the Zealot run by that I set up preemptively till way after the fact when it would have been used. I knew my opponent was coming to attack me.
Go Prism,
but
so that
I'm not in a thinking mindset.
He just saw it. Dang it!
Because of the negativity spiral. And I lose the Zealots. Fortunate. And now all of my attention is back on being the defense.
Run by.
Trying to keep active. Send more Zealots across the map. And everything looks and feels fine right now.
Trajectories.
Get seen on the map, right? He spots us on the map there with the units. Then we try to change the position of the zealot run by,
Your warrior
and we just run straight into his units again. So the tilt meter
Oh,
is
lurker.
increasing right now. Now we see lurkers, right? And I really dislike dealing with lurkers, okay? I just want you all to understand that most people are not too happy to be getting stuck in on a very long game versus lurkers are a problem. And Pig is a
You
very
cannot
good
warp at that
player
You've depleted a mineral cluster.
because he will attempt to split your attention over and over and over again.
Additional pylons are
And the
required.
goal of that sort of tactic is to frustrate you
A mineral field
and
has been
cause
depleted.
uh, disharmony and chaos within your
Mineral field
actions.
exhausted.
Right? You see these random units come in here. I get pretty lucky, and the mothership is barely in position because it just finished out of the knife. Oracles get seen, and now I'm in lizard brain mode, right? I'm in full lizard brain mode, chasing that run by. I'm getting caught out of position by these units. My Templars in front of my army instead of behind it. So they're getting crapped on by the lurkers. 4 High Templars there. My Zealots do flank him, but that's because I F2'd. F2A moved because I was panicking and I was frustrated. Still maxed out, so it's fine. But I'm going to attack into 9 lurkers. Look at all of my Zealots get evaporated right here. I just lost 60
An upgrade has
supply
been
in
completed.
20 seconds. That was pretty So I'm setting up a Zealot run by with the Warp Prism, right? We're trying to do back to our opponent
Pylon is under siege.
what I have been having done to me here. My army is kind of weak right now. He's kind of weak right now because of the big losses that I took. That frustration move where I tried to defend that ramp. Got caught out of
Pylon
position.
is under attack.
Starting to make Tempests because realistically, when there's like a big choked up map like this, it's very, very, very difficult to deal with lurkers
Get over there and cloak those
in
suckers.
choky positions. The ideal way to deal with big lurker compositions is to have a big arc of your units to attack with, or a multi-prong where you attack from 2 different directions, 3 different directions. Large arc. But on choked up maps like Abyssal Reef, like this one, there just isn't big open areas to get a fight in. Except one location on the entire map. It's the location outside of 5th/6th base area, northwest of my natural. As we aren't going to be expanding there anytime soon, I've chosen to go for the Tempest. Fortunately, moment of ultimate frustration is almost upon us. I'm gonna move my army up here. I'm gonna pause just a moment because I'm not thinking anymore. Tell that I'm like super locked in right now. I'm not in like awareness mode. I don't have like a good like field of vision open, kind of like point focused on like just the very center of this scrolling, chasing after a couple of the spy units from the overseer. Oh my gosh, the changeling. Chasing changelings right now, which is like incredibly inefficient actions that I'm taking. And I get caught off guard here by the units on the mini map. And then I tell my army to come down to this area without looking where the army is at on the mini map. The army spreads out and splits up. Just listen to the frustration, right? No, what are these units doing there?
We agree. Meet our fate.
We're pissed, right? I'm pissed. Really frustrated. The game that I felt like for most of this game, I've been very in control and that nothing really too bad has happened, but a few little things for the last 10 minutes or so have added up to a frustration boiling point. It's really important when you have these moments see it on my face there that I'm really upset. It's really important when you have back get back into the thinking mode because you're not gonna win by just
Bro, what? Why are they over
being
here?
frustrated and not thinking clearly and not making decisions, but making reactions. If you're stuck in reaction mode, you can't win. Right? Right now we're in reaction mode. We're just bouncing back and forth from different things.
The enemy, your base is under siege. Do not let this
And what I'm going to do here is important. I want you all to remember this, okay? You all to remember this. This is very important. We turn it up just a little bit. Look at how focused I am. Lost the 5th base. Crap loads of resources floating. Lost our cybernetics core. So many mistakes have piled up in the last minute or so.
Oh, awesome!
And then we get outpositioned again. Okay.
I never get to do anything but defend myself.
Fulfilled the prophecy, right? I made a prophecy for myself earlier in the game about 5 minutes ago where I was like, oh boy, now I'm going to be stuck as the defender for the rest of the game because he's going to make lurkers and hiders.
Love it. You know, it's my favorite thing that, like, literally all I ever get to do is defend myself.
Don't do this to yourself. Don't.
Oh, waste all my fucking warpins like an idiot. Awesome. And now I bet he's making I bet he's making fucking stupid ass fucking.
And then I can't even form words anymore. I was worried about the Ultralisk transition that comes a lot of the times after the Lurker Hydra stage where they try to take advantage of you. Good.
The enemy threatens your
Just
probe.
throws away everything. I'm just stuck in a death ball because of my fucking army composition.
And now, right there, that was like a good step back moment, right? I de-escalated on myself. I said, I'm stuck in a death ball because of my army composition. Not that I'm stuck as the defender because of what my opponent's doing. I'm stuck as the defender because I'm doing. I'm creating a death
Your
ball.
mineral reserves are insufficient.
With purpose.
Oh no. Look at what he did.
Awesome!
All of my army units are on the Nexus
My
hotkey.
fucking Nexus has all of my army hotkey on it, so I just fucking recalled for no reason.
Brutal, dude.
I love myself. I love myself and everything's fine.
That's important. Right there. That's the important thing that happened this whole game. All the frustrating things that happened have caused a lot of like cognitive dissonance. That moment right there was really important. You de-escalate and you say, I love myself. Everything's gonna be fine. Right? And you gotta mean it. You really gotta mean it in these. I'm not gonna say anything for the rest of the game. Like during the VOD, I don't say anything for the rest of the game.
I love myself and everything is fine.
Love myself. Everything is fine. Let's go ahead and turn that down just a little bit so it's not so loud and overpowering on the volume. No more words come out of me for the rest of this match. I just lock in. Like, you know what? Mistakes happen. Don't worry about it. Do your best, right? Worry about all the mistakes after the game's over. The stress is gone, right? Because while you're in the game, you can't analyze your decision making and mistakes without bogging down your continued actions of trying to win the game. as I talked about earlier,
Mineral
every
field
game is
exhausted.
filled with
Perhaps it's time to
endless
consider
of
a hidden
mistakes.
base.
Plus your Serral, I guess. Like maybe Serral's games aren't endless slew of mistakes. But for all of us mortals, right?
As all
All us sub pro gamers, Starcraft is about mitigating the amount of mistakes, not about
A mineral field has been depleted.
and take that step back. You're a negative Nancy personality type in performance based um, diagnostics of yourself. You like diagnose yourself while you're playing that you're bad, right? Because a lot of the things that and uh,
You've depleted a mineral
observed
cluster.
about the state of the game were like very negative things. Like I flubbed real hard by not canceling my Nexus. Like, oh no, I accidentally recalled all my fucking probes in the main base because I
an arrow
pushed
team
my army hotkey onto my Nexus hotkey on accident. Oh no, my army was out of position. It down to the south. My half and half of it got murdered by lurkers. All of those things make you feel
You've
bad,
gathered all available minerals from
and
the
you just
cluster.
have to like do what you've
Mineral
got to
field
do
exhausted.
to try and recover, not worry about it too much. And I've got my army in 2 different hotkeys right now, and I'm practicing a new um army control mechanic that I've been trying really hard to implement versus Zerg,
we
and
are
it's
window
putting
shop.
so I have my main army hotkey, which is the mothership and my Templars and a lot of the other armies. Then I have the secondary hotkey, which is like tertiary army that I'm using to deny his base, right? This is an army that is really strong. Like those 2 Archons, that Immortals, and that couple of Templars and Zealots, that army is really strong against
A mineral
ground
field has
units,
been
right?
depleted.
So if Pig were to send ground units to go deal with that ground army that I'm using to deny that base, I'm going to trade really efficiently.
You've depleted a mineral
And then
cluster.
the third step is that you can see here in my hotkey bar, right? It's a little hard for me to look at it. But I have the Tempests and the Oracles on the same hotkey as each other. Then what we do is we move the Tempests and the Oracles
Gathered all available
dependently
minerals.
from the main army
Assimilator has
that
run
we can
dry.
do what I'm doing here, which is have the main army in position. Like our main army is in a much better position at. And I can run the Tempests away while storming and moving the Archon, right? It makes controlling the units independently of each other a lot easier. So you can see here, I'm still pretty fucking tilted, right? I'm pretty tilted. We pause after the game. I don't say anything. I'm not celebrating my victory.
I get
I'm
so
not
frustrated
happy.
with myself. It's so hard to like.
So frustrated with
It's so
myself.
hard to tell myself to calm down in those moments and to not
I
just
know, dude.
explode and be really angry and upset that a bunch of mistakes are happening.
It's tough, man. Tough. You did a good job. Remember, say you love yourself. Okay? Say, I love myself. Everything's going to be fine. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you got some value out of this. Like and subscribe the video.